will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Broadcasting from the Superbook.com studio. Superbook Sports, now live. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station.
The four-time major champ Brooks Koepka with a lead here, early goings of the third round at the Masters, an event he has never won. He is 13 under overall, 1 under on his day through 3 holes, birdied the second, the par 5, and John Rahm is in second, solo second, 2 shots behind at 11 under. Both are 1 under for their days and through 3 holes. By the way, Tiger Woods making the cut, and he did so, and because of things not finishing that second round until today, Tiger had to start his third round on the back 9, and he bogeyed 10, pars on 11 and 12. He is now on 13, the par 5, and as far as where he stands, he is 4 over for the tournament and 1 over for the day through 3 holes. Elsewhere, according to ESPN, Grizzlies center Steven Adams is probably going to miss the postseason with his right knee injury. He's been out since January.
This is the Parker and Sons Weather Center. Your AC, plumbing, electric needs. Call Parker.
Ahead today, it's going to be a beauty. We'll top out at 84 degrees. Overnight, fair skies and mild, the low 59. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. See the contract, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. 10 points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CDC Sportsbook Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, getting the points. Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
Good Saturday morning to you. Mike Gross, Mike Bauer, Jackson Groff. Out here at the CAZ Sportsbook Casino, Arizona. Come on out and see us. We're taking you up to 1 o'clock today. And, Jackson, it's kind of the calm after the storm here. Last weekend, Saturday and Monday, what a great atmosphere. Great crowds for the semifinal games on Saturday and then the championship game Monday night. And the thing we always talk about, people want cash just for watching basketball.
And we've been blessed, too, because with college football on Saturdays, it's usually a good crowd here. And then with college basketball throughout the season, there's been crowds here. And when there's no college basketball, no college football, only baseball and XFL on today, there's maybe we got 5 people in here. So, I mean, it's probably the most – thank God for the Masters, because if the Masters weren't on this weekend, there wouldn't be a whole lot of sports to talk about with load management, NBA games on today and tomorrow. There are some good NBA games, which we'll get into, but we'll talk some Suns. But yeah, another day at the CAZ Sportsbook.
Well, don't sell the NHL short. They got a couple of games on.
Isn't the playoffs coming up too for NHL?
Yeah, NHL, NBA winding down their regular seasons. We'll get into playoff matchups, particularly Jackson in the NBA. If you're a Suns fan, who do you want to see? Who would you like to avoid in that opening round matchup? And the Suns locked in that 4 spot. And so they get to kind of take a little bit of a respite, give Chris Paul a little bit of time to rejuvenate and make sure that everybody else is ready to go when their opponent is determined there. Well, I guess the 5th spot, they know who it's going to be when the rest of the opponents are determined for the postseason once those playing games are played. So, hey, coming up today, we've got a couple of guests coming up, but you want to stay tuned. 11:45, regular listeners know we've qualified people every week throughout the football and basketball season to win a TV from Best Deal in Town. Our good friend Jeff Hoodzaw will be by at 11:45. We're finally going to give away that TV.
Let's go.
It's a super cool, really high-tech TV.
75-inch 4K smart TV. So you've got
That's what I just said.
I'm just repeating it. It's not only big, it's the highest definition possible, and you can have Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, all those fun apps on there because it's smart as well.
Coming up in our second hour, we're going to visit with Scott Williams. Of course, Scott, a guy that was out here last Saturday with us as we watched the semifinal games. along with Fat Lever. Great to get to know those guys. They had a blast. Scott Williams was working the room from the second he walked in, and we'll get his thoughts on the tournament that was. And we've already got odds for the coming NCAA season. So we'll get his thoughts on his North Carolina Tar Heels, as well as some of the other teams that are atop the list for championship consideration 1 year from now.
And then we got to talk about the Masters. We'll give updates throughout the show as well. Brooks Koepka, 13 under, followed by John Rahm, 11 under. Then you got Colin Morikawa, 7 under. Phil Mickelson, Victor Hovland, and Sam Bennett, all at 6 under. Sam Bennett, who was in 3rd place, 2 over through 3 holes.
Victor Hovland started this tournament like a house of fire.
65 the first round.
First round, he was on fire. It looked like he was going to run away with things, but it's like they say, that's why we play 4 rounds for a championship. And the other thing that's happening in Augusta, Georgia, Jackson, is the weather. The last couple of days, you have it there streaming on your laptop, and Tiger looks like he's playing golf somewhere in Siberia. Like he is so bundled up right now with the wind and the rain. And the other thing, kind of a tragedy averted yesterday.
Trees
falling on the course due to the amount of rain and wind and everything like that. So if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, jump out there. It's all over social media. But in all seriousness, people are extremely lucky because if you've watched the Masters, you know it's lush, it's gorgeous. The trees are mature and beautiful. A couple of them came down right in the midst of a crowd yesterday.
People were kind of not joking, but because the Masters, you're not supposed to run at the Masters.
Decorum.
Yeah, so it was like in that situation is like the only exception where you're allowed to run is if a tree falls on you. You don't have to walk, just run and get out of the way. And some of those chairs got hurt, which I'm sure they'll reimburse. But if you're the Masters, you're like, "Whoo, thank God, no injuries,
no
deaths."
That if you watch the video though, how there are no injuries to me is a remarkable thing.
Well, there was a guy that stood right in between and was just like, "Okay, I'm not going to make it. Let me try to just dodge the trees." And he stood there and avoided them.
And a woman was running. She got away from one, and it looked like she almost ran into the path of another one because it was like 3 or 4 trees that came down. Yeah. So, anyways, a little bit of news, non-golf related there coming out of Augusta. But we'll keep you updated on that. As Jackson said, weather certainly will be a factor throughout the course of today's play, no doubt. And then I forgot to mention, guest-wise, in our last hour, Casey from the sportsbook here at CAZ Sports Bar. He was with Rocky Minuch on air this week, and he'll be a regular contributor to our show throughout the course of the year. He's from Boston. We won't hold that against him, but he is a baseball expert, and it is baseball season, opening day across Major League Baseball this week. And so we'll get into baseball with Casey coming up at 12:30 or so from the sportsbook here at CAZ.
And then gross, the Cardinals were in the news this week.
We will definitely get into that. Yeah.
And drafts coming up in a couple weeks too. We might get into that
non-football related.
Yeah, it came up before the show on Tuesday.
Is it mandatory that if you own an NFL team, you got to be somewhat of a dirtbag? Like, seriously, the number of stories that have come out about owners. Well, I guess professional sports owners in general, but NFL specifically. Daniel Snyder working on the sale of his team because he nobody trusts him to own it anymore. You had Carolina. Jerry Richardson had to sell his team. Other stories that have come up, the Haslam brothers and their business dealings.
Sarver.
And obviously Sarver here in town, but Michael Bidwell. This one's going to be interesting, though, because it wasn't so much about, behavior, although there was some of that. A former assistant general manager came out and essentially said, Terry McDonough, right? Essentially said he cheated when Steve Keim was on suspension. And Michael Bidwell directed the cheating, burner phones and everything like that. It's like an episode of Breaking Bad.
Which is funny because that year of the cheating, I guess, I think they had the worst record in the NFL.
Yeah, what do you got to show for it? If you're going to cheat, at least do something like the Houston Astros.
When they had Steve Wilkes and Josh Rosen as their quarterback. But yeah, we'll get into that. And then what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? No trade at all that's been happening with the NFL. What's going on with Lamar Jackson, D-Hop? I mean, there's so much going on right now.
But the draft, like you said, right around the corner. And we'll get into some of that and look at the odds on some of that. And some of the mock drafts bouncing around. Like if you're a Cardinals fan with all the bad news, man, you got to hope, but you trust these guys. if they say we're going to trade out of this third pick, that makes me really, really nervous.
I don't. I think Will Anderson is the guy. He's been the best defensive player in the country for the past 3 years.
Yep.
If he came out as a freshman, he would be the first one off. If he came out as a sophomore, it'd be tough because Aiden Hutchinson's obviously a really good player too. But, I mean, Will Anderson is the guy. You missed out on Nick Bosa because you drafted Kyler Murray. You got to face him twice a year. You missed out on Hassan Reddick because you decided to play him at his natural position that he played in college, edge rusher, until his last year. And then he left because he wants more money because he had a lot of sacks that year. And then, like, the Seahawks are at 5. So if Will Anderson drops to 5 and we play Will Anderson and Nick Bosa twice a year, I will never forgive this franchise.
No, and there's no guarantee. Tennessee supposedly is interested in moving up because they need a quarterback.
But they just drafted Malik Willis, which I don't understand.
But there's no guarantee that if you make that deal that they take a quarterback. Because somebody famous on the radio here said it's all about subterfuge. But it is. Hey Jackson, let's trade draft picks. So I'm going to take a quarterback. You're like, oh cool, I'll just drop down, take a pick from you, and then I'll take. No, it's like I really wanted Will Anderson, and you can't have him now. That would be devastating to me, even with extra picks. And then you mentioned the DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop. He's still a member of this team, but is the asking price too high? He's got to go though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does because I think if he stays, the drama of the team wanting him to go and he's still on the team, I think is kind of butting heads a little bit. I've been saying from the beginning they shouldn't trade him. I don't care what his salary is. It's DeAndre Hopkins. He's the best receiver on your team. If he leaves, you have another hole to fill, maybe in the draft, but who knows? I think it's going to happen probably draft night. They'll get us maybe 3rd-round pick, 4th-round pick, and then
I say you get what you can get. I mean, you've got so much to do. No guarantee that your quarterback's going to be back by October, November time for him halfway through the season.
He looked good on his Instagram story. He posted he squatted 315.
Hey, that's great. But we're going to take the long term with this one. And you're rebuilding for the future, right? I mean, and you don't do that. And just taking nothing away from the talent that DeAndre Hopkins is, though. When you go back and write the book of the 2022 season for the Arizona Cardinals, part of the problem was DeAndre Hopkins. He got hurt all the way back at the end. If you recall, that playoff game against the Rams, he didn't play, and then he was suspended for the first 6 games of the season again. And that's the reason the Cardinals can trade him, is because that suspension violated his no trade clause, and so he can be dealt. So we'll keep an eye on all of that as the NFL draft approaches. But on the other side, we're going to get back into a quick recap of the NCAA tournament. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the clicks. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. Rocking the news.
It's an arm brace. When you first get in it after surgery, you're in at 90 degrees, and then from there you can start opening it up to help with your range of motion. But yeah, out in public, man, it looks like I got a robotic arm.
Rocking the
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's getting bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by and say hello. Stay wild. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, cobbling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget. State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
You hear it in other lawyer ads, and I'll repeat it in this one. All personal injury attorneys are not the same.
That's what I figured.
Sure, we all claim to do the same things, but that's where the similarities between Lerner & Rowe and all other law firms end. Lerner & Rowe was recently named the second most influential law firm in the country, And we've collected billions of dollars for our clients, with over $1 billion in the last 5 years alone. If you want real results after you've been hurt in a car wreck, call Lerner and Rowe today.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Golfers, teed up at Vans Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with drove bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Vans Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Vans Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Join Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy D Thursdays at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. The guys broadcast live from 1 to 5 Valley locations. And tune in at 2:45 for Peaks Picks. Your chance to win a Twin Peaks man card. It's Guys Live every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Arizona, if you're shopping for a new or certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup. So check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
80% of youth in Arizona don't drink, smoke, or use drugs. Want to know the reason why? It's you. Kids say not disappointing their parents is one of the main reasons they choose not to drink or use drugs. Visit talknowaz.com because while you might worry you aren't getting through, you are. Keep it up and stay up to date about the latest Arizona drug trends at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Rolling along on a Saturday morning. Bauer Gross Groff taking up to 1 o'clock today. We're at the CAC Sportsbook Casino, Arizona. A calm after the storm. What a great weekend it was. Saturday was amazing. The crowd, Fat Lever and Scotty Williams with us. Scott Williams will actually join us at 12:15. We'll do a recap of the events with him. And then Monday, of course, the championship game. UConn gets the win over San Diego State. But, guys, we are a sports gambling show, and I wish I would have had this strategy at my disposal before the tournament. But there's a guy, and I confirmed it. I don't know how to use TikTok, but I asked Jackson. There's a guy on TikTok called Matty Betts. That's 2 S's at the end of it, Matty Betts. And he bet $100 on every underdog in every NCAA game this year.
He has a lot of money.
No, you really don't need that much if you do
$100. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, but
I don't bet $100 in a year.
So let's do this. His plan was simple: bet $100 on the underdog in every March Madness game, and despite going 0 for 3 in the final 3 games of the tournament, he still came up $1,900 over the course of the tournament.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Across all 67 games, he had 24 wins and 43 losses. And so obviously that was his margin of victory. But you talk about it, Mike. Look at the Farley Dickinson game. That was plus 2,100. That's in your opening round. That'll bankroll a lot of activity down the stretch. And, of course, you got Princeton. FAU were huge underdogs early on, and they won. And then I just mentioned Farley Dickinson at plus 2,100. That's going to take you a long way. Second year in a row he did it, Jackson. So you being the young guy that can remember stuff, and you got to remind me
what TikTok is.
Yeah, you know what TikTok is, but you need to remind me, and we'll do this next year.
We should do $10 each
or like one. Like
$1. Yeah. I agree.
Like 10 cents.
How much fun is that to say I did $1 now I'm up 19?
But
It's better than potentially losing hundreds of dollars. You don't
exactly. At one point,
Only
he was
money.
probably down a lot of money, hoping to God Fairleigh Dickinson was going to win. Then they won, and obviously Princeton won. But that'd be stressful, gross. I don't know if I could do $100.
Come
for every
on.
game.
Well,
yeah, that's not good for your blood pressure to do that. just be watching games. Woo-hoo.
I don't. Well, either way, let's remember this strategy. Whether we do $1 or 10 or 100, we will employ this strategy next year. How's that? That'll be part of the fun and frivolity
I like
of this
it.
show.
Like it.
So there's that outcome, and then it's the ink isn't even dry on the storylines from the 2023 tournament, and we've already got the opening favorites to win the 2024 championship.
Thank the old gods in the new. Let's go. What do we got?
And the idea that the Blue Bloods are dead in college basketball, guys, is not factual, according to what Las Vegas thinks is going to happen a year from now. Your top teams to win the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Kentucky is your favorite at 11-1.
What?
Duke and Purdue come up next at 12-1. This year's champion, UConn, is a 14-1 favorite.
Makes sense.
Kansas, 16-1. And then you've got Marquette and Creighton out of the Big East at 16 and 18-1. And they wound out the top teams. Everybody under 20-1 are your Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins, both at 20-1. So there are your favorites to win next year's men's basketball championship. And like I said, the only one missing from that list to make it a clean sweep from the Blue Bloods would be North Carolina. All your other teams are well represented in that list of teams.
FAU is plus 3,000. I got to mention that too. But I don't understand how Purdue is up there after, especially the debacle that was last year.
You would think that at some point your track record will be counted in some of this wagering.
And the portal hasn't really started rolling either.
That's the other thing. That's where I was going to go. We talk about NFL, like who do you like in the NFL? I don't. You have ideas, but I don't like to make firm commitments until the rosters are set right at the end of training camp. I would say the same thing with college basketball in 2023, 2024 now. The transfer portal is so every time you pick up social media,
right?
This player's leaving and gone here, and he's already committed to this school, and so you've got players on the move all over the place. And the other thing that you know about college basketball is this movement doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see success. You look at these teams that were up there in the Final Four, there's something to be said for continuity and guys that stick around for a couple of years, even in the era of the transfer portal.
Well, and then you have guys going to the draft. Jordan Hawkins is going, into the draft. He's declared that he's going to likely depart. Right? There's still a window to return.
I'm in the draft, but didn't hire an agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You could see Adam Sanogo. You could see Tristan Newton, possibly. Grad transfer Joey Calcaterra. He's the only one who's definitely 100% gone right now. But this UConn team that is the favorite for next year in terms of betting, they could have just a couple bench guys back. They could be missing most of their rotation, and they're still the favorites. If you bet right now, they're the favorites. So it's all right. A lot of times when we're talking about, putting down a couple dollars here and there, it's about finding value. And right now, there's a ton of value in the UConn Huskies. If all those guys come back, you got a great number, because that number is looking at it going, all right, if it was all these guys coming back, you'd get an even better number. Or technically worse odds. Mm-hmm. But once all those guys go, now you're going to see that, plus 1,100, plus 1,200 shoot up to plus 1,700 or something like that. If you lose all those players.
Yeah, that's a team too that's developed a lot of guys, and I'm wondering, because obviously the reigning national champions, if they're going to get some guys from the portal too, or are they going to recruit more and develop? Because that's how they were so good. You could see the chemistry on the court. They've been playing together for multiple years. I mean, Sagano was an absolute beast. I think he was a junior. I believe he's been there a couple of years, but this tournament, he kind of set himself apart.
And I think you're right about UConn. I was going to go back to the Wildcats and the transfer portal too. We'll do that in a second. But you look at UConn, and when I think about Blue Bloods, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not a fan of Duke just because it's cool to hate Duke, right? Or Kansas.
It is
or
definitely cool to hate
Certainly
Duke.
Kentucky. the more I watched Danny Hurley and the UConn Huskies, I'm a fan. I love the way he runs that program. I love the way he interacts with his players. And to the point, like, you know, if you lose players that move on from UConn, if I'm in the portal, at the top of my list is that UConn Huskies team. Not because they won this past year, just because I want to play for Coach Hurley. I look at that guy. We talked about it during the interviews during the game that we absolutely hate. He's the one coach that seemed to embrace that, where you got his personality, have a good time. He was joking around with the referees when they brought the camera over, which he probably knew where the camera was, probably knew what he was doing. But what the hell? It was a good look on the national stage.
Yeah, you know, and that is one of those things when you talk about the Blue Bloods. I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about Duke. We're talking about North Carolina. We're talking about Kansas. We're talking about Kentucky and UCLA. Those are really your top of the line Blue Bloods. Michigan State is maybe part of that with what Tom Izzo's done there, but UConn now with their 5th national championship, and you combine that with a guy like a Dan Hurley that and granted, you know, we're in Hurley town here with Bobby, so we're kind of watching it from a different perspective than a lot of people nationwide. But when you look at the Blue Bloods and you combine a coach like that, guys that stuck around and were able to win another national championship, I don't know if UConn is necessarily at that Kansas, Duke, UCLA, Kentucky level of Blue Bloods, but they're up there. They're working on it because now they've got this huge resume, another national championship, and you know, they're in stores. The guys getting it done the way that the women did for so many years now.
We'll keep an eye on the Arizona Wildcats as well through all of this. The local team that's in the conversation, Kirk Carissa, leaves Tucson. He already committed to West Virginia. Pelle Larson said he's going to be back. And keep an eye on Ryan Nebhard from Creighton, which to me is kind of a surprise with the success that Creighton had and the way those teams are built. Creighton, like Gonzaga, like some of the other schools, tends to have those guys that stick around for a long time. But if he ends up at Arizona in Tucson, I think they're automatically a better team with him instead of no offense to Kirk Carissa, but that's an upgrade.
Can we count Creighton as an Arizona school, by the way? Because I would like to do that, because they were in the Elite Eight this year, and they do have a campus in Central Phoenix. There's a medical campus, about 800 students. So Arizona school in the Elite Eight this past year.
Nice try.
No,
we'll step aside here.
Damn it!
We're going to get into the NBA playoffs. Regular season wraps up tomorrow. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 9.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale, just off 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and online at wrighttoyota.com.
It's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. We love providing great food for family gatherings, parties, even work meetings. And we make it simple.
We sure do, no matter what the occasion. At Venezia's, we make catering easy. You can see our entire catering menu on Venezias.com. Or we can help with our 6 locations, including the newest, now open in Chandler.
We love next party. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Join Rock and Manooch with Jimmy D Thursdays at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. The guys broadcast live from 1 of 5 Valley locations. And tune in at 2:45 for Peaks Picks, your chance to win a Twin Peaks main card. It's Guys Live every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
Are you living paycheck to paycheck only to find yourself going backwards financially each month? Nobody wants to file bankruptcy, but at many times, it's the best choice. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is bad and that destroy your credit forever, but that's just not true. In most cases, filing bankruptcy can improve your credit. At Lerner Rowe Law Group, our bankruptcy lawyers only work on bankruptcy cases, and we can file your bankruptcy with $0 down.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. #SexyRoofStatus. All of our work using state-of-the-art materials and 5-star workmanship. Our inspections are free. You heard me, free. Go to state48roofing.com to schedule your free appointment today.
Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees. More options, faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global Capital. 480-397-9300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professionals.
GC Global Capital is an Arizona licensed mortgage broker. NMLS 1091187. License NB 0924983. An equal opportunity lender.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook, the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the Guys, live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails in an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Plus, Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B every Thursday at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. Get to your favorite Twin Peaks Lodge today.
Hey, Arizona, if you're shopping for a new or certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup. So check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year end, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
The How to Money podcast helps you live a richer life by teaching you how to handle the money you have in a more thoughtful, purposeful way. Join hosts Joel and Matt for personal finance nuggets that actually make a difference in your life.
Well, the #1 rule of cheap travel is to let the deal drive the destination. Ollie, it might not be on your radar, but if the price is right, it should be.
Right, yeah. When you take this tactic, it allows you to travel more because you're doing it for so much less money.
Listen to How to Money on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, it's Cassidy Hupperth from ESPN.
I'm Nico Ramos, a sports broadcaster here in Manila.
Together, we have a new podcast we can't wait to share with you. Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game.
You know, there's religion, there's politics, there's basketball. And those are the 3 things you talk about in the Philippines.
It's a basketball love affair like no other. Listen to Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Rolling along on a Saturday. NBA season, guys, it ends tomorrow.
What?
And I think the question at hand is...
It just started on Christmas Day. Why is it ending already?
If you're a Suns fan, who do you want to see in that number 5 spot? That's the question. Jackson, give us the standings right now. Where are we at right now? Suns have the 4 spot locked down, and they're waiting to see who finishes in that 5 spot for their first round match.
So right now, the Warriors are at 5 with a half-game advantage over the Clippers. But here's the thing, folks. The Warriors have 1 game left. The Clippers have 2 games left. The Clippers play the Blazers tonight. So if they win that game, they'll jump the Warriors. And then you got the Warriors against the Blazers at Blazers. And then you got the Suns Clippers. So if you're the Suns, low-key, let the Clippers win. That way, you play the Clippers first round. Because I do not want to play the Warriors. I understand they have a terrible road record. But Steph Curry in the playoffs scares me.
Oh, and Andrew Wiggins is coming back. I mean, that is absolutely the team you don't want to see. I mean, aside from the Nuggets or the Suns. But if you're the Suns, you do not want to see the Warriors.
The flip side of that is if and you mentioned it earlier, Jackson, the era of load management and affecting the roster that's on the floor at the time. If you're in that conversation, and it's a precarious dance because these teams are so bunched up from 11 to 6, but it's a risky move, or 11 to 5, I should say. You would probably rather see Sacramento or Memphis as opposed to the Suns, I would think. Because you're talking about a couple of teams with not a lot of postseason experience. And, the one thing that seems to hold true in the National Basketball Association is you got to pay some postseason dues. And if you can affect that to say, you know what, let's not win these games to avoid the Suns and go play Sacramento, might not be such a bad thing.
Yeah, and then a thing yesterday for the Suns, obviously they played a lot of their backups yesterday. Biyombo and Cameron Payne were both hurt, came out after only playing 15 minutes apiece. That's concerning because Bismack's been, he played well against the Sixers a couple weeks ago. He's that guy that can cover that positionless big out on the wings. So you gotta have Jock Landale step up, and then who's gonna be that guard, that point guard to come in if Payne can't do it?
When you take a look at the entire situation here, you've got the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Kings, the Suns. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's set. You got 10. That's Oklahoma City. That's it. Everything else is a complete mess.
Yeah.
Everything else could go one way or the other, but one way it's not going. And I know this pleases a lot of Suns fans, and it really bums me out because I'm a huge Luka fan, and I loved watching that series last year. That was a fantastic series to watch. But you talk about load management. The Dallas Mavericks didn't play any of their guys. They are out of the playoffs. They're going to be just like all of us watching the games from home. Suns fans, I know that is music to your ears that Luka and the Mavericks are out. Oh, my.
I was thinking you want a little redemption.
At the D-backs game last night, I had a fan come up to me mid-game. Like, I believe we had just hit back-to-back home runs. And a guy comes up to me and he shows me on his phone and goes, look, they just got eliminated. And I was like, oh. And he was like, why are you disappointed? I go, well, because I'm a big Luka fan. I really like watching him play basketball. And to see him not in the playoffs for the first time in years, that's a bummer. And he's like, yeah, but I hate him. And I'm like, that is a good argument. That's a very good argument. You don't like him.
Why did Dodger fans care about Luka?
No, I didn't say it was a Dodger fan.
You were at the game last night.
I didn't say it was a Dodger fan. It was a D-backs fan.
It's weird to me, though, that the Mavericks could have played everybody, could have won last night against the Bulls, and then they got one more game, I think, next on Sunday or whatever. But I heard rumors have it is the reason why they wanted to lose is because the Dallas Mavericks have a 10 pick, top 10 lottery pick. If they move down to 11, I believe it goes to the Wizards with that whole Porzingis trade. So rumor has it that could have been a possibility of Mark Cuban saying, "Hey, let's we're not going to make the play-in,
really,
but let's keep
this
top."
That's a slippery slope if you're the NBA to do that. But the other thing though is Dallas did a similar, not as good a trade, obviously, but they tried to adjust that roster, right? And they went after a quote unquote superstar.
They went and brought in
they're going to
Kyrie.
have nothing to show for it when it's over because Kyrie doesn't stay there, does he? And even if he wants to stay there, do you want Kyrie if you're the Mavericks? I don't. That was a risky move that clearly did not pay off.
If he stays there and they give him a contract anywhere near what he's asking for, what he would like, it is the beginning of the end of Luka Doncic in Dallas, which would please me greatly because I'd like to see him on the Bulls. That's all I'm saying. I mean, he'd be great. He'd be great. Elsie. I mean, I'm just selfish. I would like to see my favorite player on my favorite team, but that's me being selfish. For more basketball fans, it's more interesting in terms of. But I really do think if they re-up with Kyrie, they have essentially chosen sides financially, and Luka potentially could be playing elsewhere, not right away, but down the road. That said. Look, the playoffs are right around the corner, but so is the draft lottery as well. You had mentioned that draft lottery there with that number. Detroit at the top. Detroit has locked that up. They're looking at Wemby at number 1. Obviously, he is far and away the number 1 pick. They would have the top odds, but they would also have the same odds as the number 2 and number 3 picks, the way the lottery works out after they redid the numbers a few years ago. So right now it looks like Detroit, Houston, San Antonio are your top 3.
Did you see that Wembanyama? Is it how do you say his last name?
Wemby. Just call him Wemby.
Just Wemby.
Just go with it.
He had a step back 3-pointer in a game and got the rebound and put it back
flushed
for a dunk.
It was crazy. And Bauer, you just said it. Like it's not even close. Like a lot of times there's a debate. Like, who are you going to take? It's not even close this year.
No, it's not.
And the highlight, the only thing the guy needs, he should come hang out here with us at the sports book at Casino Arizona.
Yes.
He needs to have a few hamburgers.
Yeah.
Like, put on a couple pounds to take on the 82 game or whatever they end up.
Get him a breakfast Sammy, then get him the steak and eggs, then get him a burger.
Whatever it is. But he's a freak for sure. And, I think those 3 teams that you mentioned, they're going to bring all the lucky rabbit foots and whatever else they have just to to make sure they get that pick.
So the Spurs were in town this past weekend, and I was catching up with a good friend of mine that's one of the broadcasters of the Spurs, and we were talking about the future of the Spurs on the heels of their Hall of Fame class, right? You get Tony Parker going in, Becky Hammond, and Greg Popovich. Pop maybe sticks around if they get Wemby. Hey, he all of a sudden, remember, he named himself coach when they got Tim Duncan as the pick years ago. If they get Victor Wembanyama at number 1, if they get that number 1 pick, maybe Pop stays around for a little bit. If he doesn't, if they don't get a pick, if the bouncing balls don't go their way, maybe Greg Popovich hangs it up. And I know Suns fans don't like hearing about anything Spurs, but it is the top of the NBA draft. Victor Wembanyama. We actually have 2 huge prizes in the drafts this year because Connor Bedard is an absolute stud in the NHL, and then you have Wemby in the NBA. So both the lottery situations are going to be very interesting. But right now, we don't know how the playoffs are going to look. We do know how the top of that draft lottery is going to look with Detroit locking up the worst record in the league.
Fascinating if San Antonio gets that pick, though, after, again, you hear the term in sport, a generational talent, right?
Yes.
And for them at that point, to have David Robinson and Tim Duncan on the same roster, and if they were able to parlay this season into that top pick and draft another generational talent in San Antonio, I think they're getting some side eyes.
Yeah, and Detroit.
If you look at it, what'd you say? It's San Antonio, Houston, Detroit.
San Antonio, Houston, Detroit. You got Detroit right now, 17-64, 21-60 for Houston, 21-59 for the Spurs.
So Houston's had the generational talent and Hakeem Olajuwon. We just talked about the Spurs. I think it's high time, that the Detroit Pistons lock up a generational talent.
As a Bulls fan, I cannot support that statement. How dare you? They already got Cade Cunningham. They got their number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Somebody else's turn.
Look what that got them. On the other side, guys, we're giving away a TV. Well, we're not, but our good friend Jeff Hoodzow is giving away a TV. We've been qualifying listeners, start of the NFL season, and we've flipped it over and included the basketball season. And now the time is here. The time is here where one lucky listener to this show who qualified by way of their picks throughout the course of this season or seasons, they're going to get a TV from Jeff Hoodzow.
Let's go. Let's do it.
How cool is that? Check him out online at bestdealaz.com. Bestdealaz.com for all your home entertainment needs. Jeff Hoodzow giving away a TV. That's coming up next right here on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. With inflation compensation, you can win $1,000. Listen at the top of the hour weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the keyword to enter at foxsports910.com. Sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys.
Hey, Arizona, it's your local accident attorney, Kevin Rowe. Results matter, so we want to help you win $1,000 powered by Lerner and Rowe Accident Attorneys, where we treat you like family. In a wreck, need a check? Call Lerner and Rowe today at 977-1900. Right Toyota, the number 1 volume Toyota dealer in the state of Arizona, ensures you a buying experience that will exceed all your expectations. Check it out for yourself. Located just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale and online at righttoyota.com.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning. Our dealers are dealing. Everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again?
Wheelofnames.com.
Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue River agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of Game Day.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information. Golfers, tee it up
at Van's Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Van's Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Van's Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Join Rockin' Mooch with Jimmy D Thursdays at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. The guys broadcast live from one of the 5 Valley locations. And tune in at 2:45 for Peaks Picks. Your chance to win a Twin Peaks man card. It's Guys Live every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
A homeowner just like you decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the back side of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Jeff's ready.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
I do it every week.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Match with Jimmy B broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday. CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Hey, if you're shopping a certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup, so check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year-end, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for
time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text STILL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text STILL to 200-300 right now. Text the word STILL to 200. Don't wait. Text STILL to 200-300.
Back to Take the Points, powered by Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 9.
Welcome back in. Bauer Gross-Groff taking you up to 1 o'clock today. And forgot to mention in our last segment, we put Marco on assignment for the next couple weeks. Marco D'Angelo, regular contributor to the show, at Marco in Vegas on Twitter. WagerTalk.com is the website. He'll be back with us in a couple weeks for the Kentucky Derby, guys. So he won't be with us here regularly till football season again, but you can always find him online at wagertalk.com and on Twitter at Marco in Vegas.
But right now, we're joined by our good friend Jeff Hoodsow from the Best Deal in Town, bestdealaz.com. Jeff, we're going to give away a TV here in just a few moments. But first, we got to get your picks for what's going on this week. And, I sent you the picks, and I said, hey, here's what we're going to do. And then you replied, and I'd like you to share it with the guys here and with our listeners. What was your reply to my text with the picks that we're doing today? Because you didn't want to do that.
Well, I mean, I first off, boys, good happy Masters Saturday to you. It's a tradition like no other, me getting all my picks wrong and talking to you guys on a Saturday morning. I love Corbin Carroll stealing 1,000 bases tonight. So if there's a way just to bet on stolen bases with wherever you are, Noah Syndergaard is the worst at holding runners on. Carroll stole 3 bases last week. So if I could pound Corbin Carroll stolen bases, I'm taking it.
All right, so you're taking Corbin Carroll, the over on stolen bases against Thor. There you go. That's the Hoods Out pick.
yeah, it doesn't count toward anything. Much like most of my picks, it's probably going to be wrong. But I'm excited for we got baseball, we got playoffs starting soon, and we got the Masters. So a lot going on.
Well, let's start right there. Let's start with the Masters, and I've got the live odds. Obviously, they're on the course right now. It's moving day. Masters Saturday at Augusta. As you mentioned, a tradition unlike any other, except for Sunday at Augusta is the only thing that tops this. But when you take a look at the leaderboard, Koepka through 4 today is 1 under, 13 under for the tournament atop the leaderboard. John Rahm nipping on his heels, 3 strokes back. He's even on the day through 4. Obviously, they're playing together. Colin Morikawa, Phil Mickelson making a charge. He's 6 under. It's still a handful of strokes off the pace, but he's right there, T4 with Victor and with Sam Bennett, the amateur. So who is your pick to win the Masters, Jeff Woodsell?
I don't toot my own horn, but I do have Koepka and John Rahm in our work pool. So let's go with the Sun Devil. Let's go John Rahm. Let's go with the Mutter with rainy conditions. I don't know what Rahm's coming off at, but I wouldn't think anyone outside of the top 2 right now. But Koepka I like, but I'm going to go John Rahm just to be a little contrarian.
If you're looking at the live odds, PGAtour.com, you got Koepka at -125. You're getting some value there at John Rahm at +210. But you're just making the pick outright for the segment here. All right, so you get the Ducks and Coyotes. Ducks and Coyotes. We got playoffs coming up around the corner. Not for these teams, but still Ducks, Coyotes. What do you like?
You could give me an hour to name a player on the Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
And I would have, if you don't give me Goldberg, I'm not going to be able to take all Korea. So I'm going to take the Ducks.
You're good.
I don't know what the line is, but we're taking the Ducks.
You're taking the Ducks. You got the Ducks. Let's see. Well, the line is 1 because it's hockey. That's kind of the way it works. But you're underdog on the Ducks. They're actually +125 on that 1.5. So you're taking the Ducks. You're going with the Quack Pack, and then the Dodgers at the D-backs. You've already got the prop on the Steels, Jeff. But Dodgers D-backs tonight. Chase Field. What do you like?
Any chance I have to bet against the Dodgers, I will happily take it. So give me the D-backs tonight.
I like it. There you go. Jumping with the D-backs. Did you guys know, all y'all listening, all y'all sitting here, Jeff Hood said, did you know that every single loss the Dodgers have this year is against the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Wow.
I mean, we're only a week in the season.
How many wins do they have with the D-backs?
Well, don't worry about that. Let's not really worry about that. That's not important here.
Okay.
That's neither here nor there, sir. It's just most importantly is that all of their losses this year are to the Diamondbacks.
Fair enough.
That's it. Okay, Jeff Hoods, you got John Rahm, you got the Ducks, you got the D-backs. And before we give away your TV, my good man, what's going on at Best Deal in Town, bestdealaz.com?
So, it's Green Jacket weekend, so we're going to save a little green. Just got in the TV we're actually giving away today, 75-inch 4K Smart LG on special for $499. Probably one of the craziest deals we have, and I'm so crazy we're going to give one away for free right now.
All right. Well, so here's the way it works. For our listeners, you cannot see this, but I am rolling live video right now. We are broadcasting live on Fox Sports 910. Jackson's there in the background. I've got a big Wheel of Fortune looking wheel right here with all of the names of our listeners that have entered to win over the time. We got Stefan, Tony, Marie, David, John, Daniel, Chuck, Jordan, Adam, Mark. John tried twice. He's not in twice. Steve, you're in there as well. So we've got you all down there. You're on the wheel. Jeff Hood's out. You let me know when, and I will click to spin the wheel of names for the winner of a 75-inch 4K HD TV, courtesy of Best Deal in Town.
Let's spin it.
There we go. All right, we're spinning.
Here we go.
Great radio.
It's great radio. It's going around. Tick, 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 tick. The winner, sandwiched in between Marie C. and John H., is Steve R. So, Steve R., congratulations. Obviously, for purposes on it, we're not going to give away your true identity, but Steve R. Right there. Steve the Pirate. Steve R.
Steve R. Here's his phone number. Here's
Wait a second. Yeah, hey, he's got a new TV. Best deal in town. Congratulations. And thank you to everyone who called in during football season, during March Madness to enter to win. And I mean, that is awesome, Jeff, just for you to give away a 75-inch 4K smart TV. That is tremendous. And that for our listeners.
Boys, thanks for having me on, and we're gonna keep giving away stuff as much as we can. We're hopefully try to sell some stuff,
Absolutely.
so I can put shoes on my children's feet, and then lose them betting on golf. So we're doing our best, but we're losing responsibly.
Good stuff, Jeff Hoods. Follow or check out Best Deal in Town, bestdealaz.com. Jeff, always good stuff, and we appreciate that. And guys, I'm a remiss here. I did not give Ryan's pick in the opening segment, which I am contractually obligated to do. Ryan, our national champion, played soccer at Marshall.
He left us.
Every week, he's been giving us, for the last 5 weeks, he's been giving us soccer picks, usually EPL. And he's 4-1. Finally came back to earth last week, missed his pick. But his pick this week, tomorrow, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Take the 2.5 goal over. Liverpool has been struggling, but Arsenal can score a lot of goals. Liverpool will probably add one into Liverpool, Arsenal over 2.5 tomorrow in the EPL is the pick of the week from our good friend Ryan, our national champion. And so I told him after he missed last week's pick, guys, I said, we'll let you come back, but you're now officially on probation. So we'll see how he does. But we appreciate Ryan sending that in. Liverpool, Arsenal from the EPL tomorrow over 2.5 goals is your pick.
Wait a minute.
I didn't
cool.
know that soccer actually goes
TV.
over 2.5. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. Somebody won a TV on our radio show.
Yeah, somebody did. Congratulations. And on top of that, we had a handful of other people that won gift certificates to the Best Deal in Town. So thanks to Jeff and Best Deal in Town for hooking our listeners up.
And I'm sure he'll do this again in the future. And you heard him. He's giving away a lot of free stuff. It'd be nice if people went in and bought stuff for him. But bestdealaz.com. Howard, the question is, did you ever go in? Let's see. We had you for a soundbar.
Yeah.
We had you for a mounting kit and the LED.
No, I don't need that.
LED light kit.
That sounds really good.
Around your TV. And at some part of the year, there was either steep discount for our listeners or in some cases, the LED light kit free.
Yeah.
What did you take advantage of from Best Deal in Town?
Well, I just want to let you guys know that I have a birthday coming up in July. So just so you guys know, July.
So you did not go see Jeff.
I think we have to go to break. I think no, you're right. I did not go.
Our number one
though. Damn it.
is in the books.
I gotta get my life together.
On the other side, we're going to visit with Scott Williams. He was out here with us last Saturday watching the NCAA tournament. Of course, former North Carolina Tar Heel great. Great career in the NBA, now part of the Grand Canyon University broadcast team. He'll join us coming up at about 12:15. We're out here at the Sportsbook CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona. Coming out, see us. We're here till 1 o'clock, and we'll be right back on Fox Sports 910.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Plus, rockin' the nooch with Jimmy B every Thursday at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. Get to your favorite Twin Peaks Lodge today.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Don't miss out on some of the biggest matchups of the season when the D-backs take on the Dodgers, Red Sox, Mets, Cubs, and Astros. Get your tickets now at dbacks.com.
Have you ever heard of a no-no guarantee? Parker & Sons loves to say no. That might sound bad, but let me tell you what they mean. There will be no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. They have same-day service with no extra fees. No charging for something you don't need. You will always get a reliable tech with honest recommendations. No answering services. There's always a live person to answer your calls, and there will be no Melvins on your job. Saying no can be a good thing. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons. ROC number 152656.
Did you know your completely free iHeartRadio app is also your home for hit podcasts? New for you this week, check out On Purpose with Jay Shetty, discussing philosophy, life, and conversations with the biggest stars in the world. Listen today on your free iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio! Imagine transforming your outdoor space into a stylish and functional area for relaxation and entertainment. Imagine superior durability and longevity, ensuring that your investment lasts for years to come. Imagine whatever you'd like. Decorators Composite Decking, Railing, Balusters, and Accessories can help you create a deck that reflects your personal style and provides an inviting space for you and your loved ones to gather. Make your vision a reality. To learn more, visit decorators.com. That's decorators with a K.
Portions of the following program will be recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESE HD2 Phoenix, an iHeartRadio station.
The Masters is ongoing, and sole possession of the lead is Brooks Koepka. He is 13 under for the tournament, 1 under for the day through 6 holes. That birdie for him came on the second. John Rahm is in solo second. He has 4 shots off the base. +1 for his day through 6 holes. And the amateur Sam Bennett, how about this story? He is by himself in third place, 7 shots off the pace, but 2 over on his day, also through 6 holes. As for Tiger Woods, he did make the cut for the 23rd consecutive time that he has been a part of this tourney, but really is struggling. Started out his round on the back 9, which is where he is, and is +4 through 6 holes. +7 for the tournament, is in last place by himself. +7, make that a good 20 shots off the lead.
This is the My Guy Referrals Weather Center. Visit myguy.com for 5-star local referrals. Make My Guy your guy.
To wrap up the afternoon as well, we'll top out in the mid-80s, and for the overnight hours, we'll drop to 59 under fair skies. And then here comes your Sunday and Easter to remember. Sunny skies, very warm, the high 90. The Fox 10 weather expert, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop Springfest at Lowe's today and save big on select major appliances. Get an additional $100 off select laundry pairs when you spend $1,296 or more. Valid through 4/12. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Hour number 2. Like Power Mike Gross, Jackson Groff. Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona, 101 in McKellips. Congratulations to Steve R., our winner of the big screen TV from Best Deal in Town, bestdealaz.com online. And maybe Jeff can get a picture of it or something, we'll put it up there. But are you gonna tweet out the spinner?
I already did. It's already out there.
So you can verify our work.
Yeah, you can. How do you follow us on Twitter, Jackson? On the internet. If you go to twitter.com/Fox910 Saturday.
Correct.
Boom. There you go.
There it is. And congratulations to Steve R.
I answered my question.
As he gets the big screen TV. All right, fellas. We're a couple weeks away from the NFL draft. And I said earlier, win totals, when you look at it, it's hard for me, right? You look at it and say, all right, you can't judge a roster until you have your final cut downs, right? You have injuries, you have free agency still, you have the draft, but there are certain things when you look at this coming NFL season. And the top of the list of things that I am very certain of, though I haven't seen the most recent number, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be pretty awful. Like, I don't know what they're going to do in the draft. I'm scared to death. Jackson, you and I were talking about this. I'm scared to death that they try to get cute and trade out of the number 3 pick. But this is a team that needs a lot of help. So this is going to be a really low number when you look at the Cardinals win total
So
this year.
it's funny you mentioned that, Gross, because I'm looking at the odds right now for the number 3 draft pick.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson minus 110, Will Anderson plus 250. So what sportsbooks are, I'm assuming, thinking that the Cardinals are going to trade out of it. Plus 250, Will Anderson. That's crazy. That means people think the Cardinals are going to trade out, which would be a terrible move for this franchise.
Why would that? I think it would be a tremendous move. They absolutely should trade out of it.
You need an edge rusher. You need a D line. You need someone
Cool.
on the D
Draft
line.
Will Anderson at 4. Draft Will
Okay.
Anderson after 3 quarterbacks
Okay,
go in the
4,
top 3.
4 I don't mind, but if you go to 5 or lower, if you go under 4, because you're not going to, the Seahawks are not going to trade up with the Cardinals, I don't think.
So if the Seahawks aren't going to trade up, then your options to
And the
trade down are either 4 or 6 and lower.
That would be
so
bad.
if you trade down to 4, you're getting Will Anderson and the Colts for the price of what? A 2? Maybe a 3? Move up 1 spot, and they get the quarterback they want after the first 2 go off the board, including 1 in their division. But if you move down 1 and you can get anything and still get the player you want, that's the best case scenario for the Cardinals.
It is, and you have to be certain that that's what's going to transpire. Jackson and I were talking about that earlier. There's no guarantee when you have these teams moving around. Will Anderson, you hear this, right? And we mentioned it earlier, the term generational talent, right? And Will Anderson feels to me like that is going to be his label when he gets here. And you look at what's important in the National Football League. Obviously, quarterback number 1, the tackle that protects number 1's backside, and then that edge rusher, right? And probably in that order. And if you can get that and get it locked up for a 10-year period of time, I think you got to do it. And you got to be darn sure if you're going to move that whoever you're trading with doesn't have any designs on that guy as your pick. And I saw something you were sharing earlier, Jackson. I think one of the guys at CBS had the Cardinals trading down, and they ended up on the other side of the Seahawks, who took Will Anderson, and the Cardinals ended up with Jalen Carter.
That would be such a Cardinals
hate
move.
Hate that idea.
That would be such a typical Cardinals thing to do, to have the guy that all the fans want go in the division to a potential
Oh, yeah, we're going to trade up and get a quarterback, and then they just bluff it. They get Will Anderson, and then the Cardinals are either stuck with Jalen Carter, or I wouldn't mind him getting offensive tackle, but I don't know. Jalen Carter's
not
got
at,
so
not
much.
at 3 right now.
Not yet. Not 3. I'm saying if they moved out of 3, if they went
Yep.
to like 5 or 6, I wouldn't mind an offensive tackle there, but Jalen Carter, it's just something about him, man. I'm just not a fan. Obviously, with the whole situation, not that, but him gaining weight, him not finishing his pro day, not running a 40 or things that just don't really sit well with me.
No, I completely agree with you, and that's my point. If you go and make this trade, and Bauer, you're right? If you can go down 1, pick up an additional pick, because I'll go back to my original statement. This team is going to suck this year, and you're building
So
for the
bad.
future. So, getting those picks, it helps you from a cap standpoint when you're building off the rookie cap. And if you're getting an additional pick in that era or level, you're hoping that this is a guy that's going to be able to contribute it right away. So yeah, if you get that guarantee, but until it actually happens and the 3rd pick is in, if you trade out of there, you're sitting on pins and needles for that 15-minute period of time.
So the opening win totals for the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, no.
5.5.
Too high.
Let me take the under.
I'm taking the under.
5.5 is a lot of games.
I heard an interesting conversation on it was the Worldwide Leader somewhere, and they were talking about the idea of you go into a season and you and nobody is ever going to admit to tanking, but you look at 2 teams leading into last year, 2 teams that basically tanked. You look at the Bears, and you look at the Giants, and what you try to do is you take that year off, and you try to put a team together that's gonna get some things done, right? And both the Bears and the Giants had essentially the same philosophy a couple of years ago going into this. You look at where the Giants are, I think everybody would agree they were probably a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of where they ended up and what the end of their season was. But if you're a Giant and the lumps that you took in the interim to get there, right? That's the ideal plan, right? That's the plan you want to follow. And that's the idea that hey, if you're the Cardinals and that's your roadmap, that's a great thing if you can pull it off. And it's a big if when you're talking about talent. And the Bears, you like the direction of this team.
They are who we thought they were.
But they still have the number 1 pick, or had the number 1 pick.
Yes.
And
now they're at 9.
the Bears plan, not so great, right? If you're talking about getting wins on the field. And, the North, especially, Jackson brought this up earlier, if Aaron Rodgers, well, last year he was there, but if he's gone, like the North, to me, I'm not buying all this Detroit Lions talk yet. The North is wide open. I mean, the Lions are going to be better, but, I mean, they played about as well as the Lions could play a year ago, and they still missed the play.
Who do you think could compete with them then?
That's my point.
I mean,
the North is
probably the Vikings or the Bears. I mean, or what happens with the Packers? Do they put together? I mean, do they end up getting a player that's on a roster right now? Do they get a wide receiver that now Jordan Love can throw to? But hey, look, the Lions are the favorite to win that division. The Vikings pretty much right behind them, and then the Bears and the Packers. Obviously, books pretty much seeing it, money-wise, seeing it as a foregone conclusion that even though he hasn't been traded yet, that Aaron Rodgers will be on another team. But, when you talk about building a team, getting the quarterback is, for many teams, is the first step. Is you get your quarterback and then you build around that quarterback, specifically in the first few years before you've given that quarterback a contract. The Cardinals are past that. The Cardinals now have given a huge contract to their quarterback from the number 1 pick a few years ago in Kyler Murray. The jury's still out. A lot of Cardinals fans are on one side. A lot of Cardinals fans are on the other as to whether Kyler's the guy. Regardless of whether you think Kyler's the guy, his contract says he's the guy. And so now you have to build around him. You have to build around that situation, because at number 3, you can get the edge rusher you want. It is going to go quarterback 1, 2. It's going to happen. So then at 3, get that edge rusher. Probably value-wise a little too early to go a different position, unless there's a prize, a huge deal that's moving you off the 3 spot.
Yeah, and I think something that's important for this franchise as they're going to change a culture there is finding a foundation in their leadership. And what I mean on that is the 2 most successful franchises we've seen over the last couple of years have been the Chiefs and the Eagles. You look at the Chiefs, obviously they got Kelsey, Mahomes, Frank Clark, Chris Jones, were probably, you'd say, are their foundational leadership pieces. Eagles, you got Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. Those are your main guys. Who are the main guys for the Cardinals that could be the foundation leadership throughout this rebuild? 2 come to mind, obviously, is Budda Baker and DJ Humphries. Who can be those other guys that step up and are those foundation guys moving forward?
And that shows you how sideways last year went for this team, right? Because you had a veteran guy that you thought would be it in Rodney Hudson going into last season, and that one went sideways. You had a guy in DeAndre Hopkins who missed the first 6 games of the year due to a drug suspension. And right away, you can see, to your point, when you compare it to those teams that were successful, you've got to have those guys there to be those leaders.
I think Zach Ertz is another guy, too, once he gets healthy. But, I mean, you mentioned, too, Justin Pugh. He's had injuries, too. He's kind of been that
Calvin
guy.
Beachum. Anyways, it's way too much talk on a team that's going to win 3 games next year. We're going to step aside here.
That's generous. 3 games.
Is it 3?
I mean, that's it was 5.5, but you saying 3 is generous.
Yeah.
So that's a nice clear under bet right there for you guys.
On the other side, we'll visit with Scott Williams. He was here with us last weekend. Want to recap the NCAA tournament with a guy who knows college basketball. It's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CDC
Coming back
Sports Bar
in 4.5.
Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. Rockin' Manute.
When you first get it after surgery, then at 90 degrees, and then from there you can start opening it up with your range of motion. Album focus, man. Look at that.
Monday afternoon.
The right price, the right selection. It's all now at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Stop by today and see why Wright Toyota continues to be Arizona's top Toyota dealership, located just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard and online at WrightToyota.com.
It's Tom at Betsy's Pizzeria. We love providing great food for family gatherings, parties, even work meetings, and we make it simple.
We sure do. No matter what the occasion, at Venezia's, we make catering easy. You can see our entire catering menu online at venezias.com. Or let us know how we can help with one of our 6 locations, including the newest now open in Chandler.
We'd love to bring Venezia's to your party. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. here to tell you the biggest thing I've learned about insurance companies over the years, and it's really simple. They don't care about you. That's it. Insurance companies are publicly traded companies who have an obligation to their shareholders to deliver profits. They have teams of investigators, adjusters, and lawyers all working against you from the moment you call them, and they want to pay you as little as possible for your injuries. Hurt in a wreck? Don't be a victim of the insurance companies. Call Lerner and Rowe today.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Are you looking to get in the best shape of your life and offer your son or daughter the best training in Arizona? Then listen up. Dan Minucci here for the new Coco 5 Performance Center at Bell Bay Park, located in Southeast Mesa, the premier training facility in the Southwest. The state-of-the-art facility is 25,000 square feet, which combines junior high, high school, and college teams, as well as individual athletes of all ages. And it's the new home for my quarterback training. They have the best team of coaches led by Olympic gold medal winner Dan O'Brien. If your son or daughter wants to get bigger, stronger, and faster, then you need to call Coco 5 Performance Center now. Sign up by calling at 480-572-0647, and one of their team members will give you the type of training specific to your sport. That's 480-572-0647, or go online to legacyperformanceaz.com. And for a limited time, and they will give you your first session free on me. Again, that's 480-572-0647, or go to legacyperformanceaz.com.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails in an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Plus, Rockin' Minute with Jimmy B every Thursday at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. Get to your favorite Twin Peaks lodge today.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Hey, Arizona, if you're shopping for a new or certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup. So check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers, or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year end, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
The How to Money podcast helps you live a richer life by teaching you how to handle the money you have in a more thoughtful, purposeful way. Join hosts Joel and Matt for personal finance nuggets that actually make a difference in your life.
Well, the #1 rule of cheap travel is to let the deal drive the destination. Bali, it might not be on your radar, but if the price is right, it should be.
Right, yeah. When you take this tactic, it allows you to travel more because you're doing it for so much less money.
Listen to How to Money on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
iHeartRadio and Pantera City Studio united their summer tour in Pittsburgh. It's like there to hear the hotel and you see premium tickets to the shows and Pantera merch and snap your picture as proof. The chance to win is over the free iHeartRadio app. Pantera Radio automatically entered. It's that simple. Info and tickets for the tour at livenation.com. See Pantera united their tour only from iHeartRadio.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook and CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
You're live. Welcome back in. It's an absolutely miserable day in Augusta, Georgia.
Not here.
I'm cold just watching this thing. Absolutely miserable. What wasn't miserable was our event last Saturday here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. And one of the guys that was out here with us celebrating college basketball, Scott Williams, joins us now. Scott, it's Mike, and Jackson. How are you?
I'm doing good, fellas. How you guys doing? Mike and Jackson. I love the way that rolls off the tongue. We had a good time out there at Casino, Arizona. We saw some good games on Saturday and a good final. UConn, congratulations, national champs. That big guy, Sanogo, is that how you say his name? Most outstanding player?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Before we get into any of that, when you got here, I was telling these guys, you were having a great time. You were out here mixing and mingling, talking to your public. sporting the North Carolina colors. How good of a time did you have just out here at the sportsbook? Because you could tell when you got here, the room lit up, Scott.
The sportsbook is fantastic, and that was my first experience out there at Casino Arizona. Wow, what a phenomenal job they have done. It was great to see all the college basketball fans out there. And you're right, they are my people. I love coming out and talking hoops, talking all sports for that matter. I'll be out there again for sure. Checking out some D-backs baseball, obviously. The Suns NBA playoffs getting ready to kick off around the corner here. I'm going to be posting up there quite a bit. So I hope the fans will be nice to me, be warm to me. I'll be sporting my Sun shirt, but I'll also be available to talk all things Valley sports, man. I'm looking forward to it.
When you take a look at what UConn did, and it's awesome to hear that you had such a great time, because I know our listeners, I know the people here had a great time getting to know you, getting to hear you up on stage, chop it up with Fat Lever and the guys with our friends Rock and Manuch. But UConn now moving forward, look, they just won on Monday, but they are the favorites to win again next year. Since we're here at the Sportsbook, we always take a look at these odds, the futures odds. They are the favorites, but the Blue Bloods are up there as well. North Carolina's always got some betting love. So does that other school in that state that I don't want to mention because Scott would beat me up.
That four-letter word now.
Yeah, I don't want to say that. I want to say a four-letter word on the radio. But, always the Blue Bloods. Kansas is up there. And of course, Kentucky in terms of the betting odds. When you take a look at next year, is it too early to be kind of picking winners in terms of guys in the draft and the transfer portal and all that stuff now, Scott?
Well, I'll tell you what, I fill out a bracket every year, and my bracket got smashed this year early. Kansas went down, Kentucky went down, but Tar Heels weren't in it, of course. But, I'm not surprised to see UConn back up there, Kansas back up there, Carolina trying to retool after losing 6 players to the portal. This was a wild tournament. No number one seeds in the Final Four. No top team. 3 teams in the tournament this year in the Final Four. So it was a crazy topsy-turvy tournament, and I think all this moving the portal doesn't allow teams to be able to jail for 3 or 4 years like they did back in the 80s when I was, playing back 40 years ago in college. It's fun to watch for some of the upsets, and some of these teams come from out of nowhere seemingly to make deep runs. The Miami's was fantastic. Florida Atlantic going deep in the tournament. It was a great, fun event, and I think, maybe I'm a little biased, having played basketball at both college and pro level, but I don't think there's anything better than March Madness, man, when it comes to postseason tournaments. I know college football, they're trying to make a run now, make it the tournament, extend that out to, I think, in 2025, a few more teams as well. But right now, college basketball, that was made for TV drama.
Scotty Williams joins the show. I want to talk a little bit of the Suns right now. Suns are at the 4 spot, and you got the Clippers and Warriors fighting for each other for that 5th spot. In your mind, being a Phoenix guy, a local guy that's living here and stuff like that, would you, if you're the Suns, would you rather face the Clippers or the Warriors? And how do you see the Suns team, I guess, matching up against both teams?
I laughed because I had to look at the standings this morning and I'm like, wait a minute, the Warriors are up to 5? It made me real nervous. Now, nobody wants to go up against that championship experience that they have. I know the Clippers are, a powerful team and they're dangerous when healthy. But I got to think, Paul George being a little banged up, the lack of experience that he's got, having deep runs, and you don't want to think Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. You don't want to see those guys, Steve Kerr, the mastermind that he is on that bench. Much rather go up against the Clips.
We're visiting with Scott Williams here, and Scott, I want to go back to college basketball, and the game is a lot different, obviously, from when you played, and I'm thinking specifically of the transfer portal. I'm thinking specifically of NIL. What would that have been like in the 80s for Scott Williams if that was available? How do you view today's game for the college student athlete?
Completely different. I mean, it's wild. This name, image, likeness deal. Something's got to be done to fix what is going on right now. I think it's hurting college basketball. I'm all for players being compensated for what they do and bring to universities and to NCAA athletics, but there's got to be something that makes it a little bit fairer. You know, I don't think you can have your starting quarterback making $2.5 million a year, and you got the guys on the offensive line down in the mud, face first. You know, barely being able to take their girlfriends or college sweethearts out on a date for a steak dinner someplace. So it just seems like there's got to be more of a scale. I don't know exactly how to make that happen, but human nature, you know, jealousy is a human nature. And I think that these guys, at any little slight or perceived of not being compensated fairly, they're jumping ship, not wanting to have to sit out a year. They're taking off to other programs, trying to find greener pastures someplace else. I think it's going to hurt the game more than it's going to help the game. So some sort of I don't know if it's 5-to-1, 10-to-1, some sort of a ratio on which these guys get compensated. And I'm not saying that's got to be like that for all sports, non-revenue sports, maybe a little bit different system. Basketball may be a little bit different than football. So something's got to be done because this is not working.
What about the transfer portal? You spent all 4 years at North Carolina because had you decided to transfer, you would have had to either sit out a year or two. You would have had to get the release from North Carolina, all of that. So on the one hand, you didn't have that freedom or flexibility, but on the other hand, doesn't it teach you to kind of persevere? And I'm not speaking specifically to your experience at North Carolina, but you know, guys like you said, they something goes wrong, something goes sideways, and the first thing they're like, I'm out of here, I'm transferring. And instead of dealing with whatever the issue is, seems to me that is impacting the game, and I think impacting the players more so than people thought it would.
You're 100% right. I think there's something to be said. I was McDonald's All-American, top 5 player in the country. I didn't even start my freshman year in college. I didn't whine and complain about it. Put my head down and went to work, started fighting for more minutes. Finally got past one of the other seniors on that was playing in the starting position or playing heavy minutes. It taught me what it's like. It served me well when I went undrafted in the NBA, starting back on the bottom as an unrestricted free agent, undrafted for that matter. And I want to fight guys that are making 10, 15, 20 times more than you. The general manager's got a lot writing on that guy's playing, outworking a guy in practice. Only to give
2 minutes.
Somebody else in a game. You put your head down. You continue to work hard. You gain the trust and respect of your coaching staff and your teammates. Certainly for my 15-year career in the NBA, don't get things handed to you. And that's what these guys are missing. I think something has to do with the name, image, likeness, the NIL money. That has to do with the fact that they don't have to sit out a year. And the other thing is this AAU basketball. I don't know if it's good or bad for the sport. You guys are told since they're like the 5th grade what great players are. They're recruited to come to different programs and form these super teams. They play 4 games on a Saturday. Don't care whether or not they win or lose because there's another game 3 hours from now. They just try to get their points, make the little reels so they can try to get an opportunity to go to a school. They don't know what it's like to lose a game and not be able to play for another week and sit with that. I just don't think it's making for a well-rounded, strong athlete that's as competitive it was back in the 80s.
You know, Scott, and you just mentioned this, you mentioned these super teams and from a young age, guys are kind of treated like that. I want to ask you, as we're joined by Scott Williams, NBA, star for years, North Carolina. But Scott, I always like mentioning this fact because I think it's a pretty cool one. You're one of 4 players in the NBA to be teammates with Michael Jordan and LeBron James. You won 3 titles in Chicago with number 23. You played with the other number 23 in Cleveland. I believe it was his 2nd season there in the NBA. But, you also played with Allen Iverson as well. You were just talking about super teams. Let's bring it to the Phoenix Suns in the pantheon of great players in NBA history. There's 2 of them, with Devin Booker adding to that list as maybe 3 of all-time greats, Chris Paul and Kevin Durant. Does this super team have championship chops right now sitting in the 4 seed?
They haven't had a lot of times to gel together. That, unfortunately, the injury that Durant suffered cost him 6-8 games that he could have been out there on the floor learning his teammates, them learning his style of play where he liked to get the ball. But if anybody can make it work in a shorter period of time, you mentioned the future Hall of Famer Chris Paul, an unselfish superstar throughout his entire career, can make that happen. Monty Williams, knowing Chris Paul's game, knowing Booker's game, been here for a while, DeAndre Ayton, the relationship that he's got with him, a big guy in the middle can be a roadblock if he puts his mind to it. He knocked down the little 15-foot jumper as well as playing and getting on that offensive glass. Don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves. And Kevin Durant, the best player in basketball right now, in my opinion, when healthy, can do everything out there on the floor. They pushed all the chips to the center of the table. They've rolled the dice, given up 5 number 1 draft choices. First round draft choices, a number of good players in Cam Johnson and with Bridges. So they are going all in. And I think when healthy, if healthy, throughout the playoffs, they're the favorites, even in the 4th seed, to advance to the NBA Finals. And I will be there cheering them on at every home game.
Hey, Scott Williams. Hey, enjoyed getting to meet you last weekend. Loved watching you out here with the folks at the Sportsbook. And absolutely,
I had a good time with them. I think you guys were a little surprised how much I was into it. I loved it.
It was just great to see you and Fat out here, and it was awesome. It was just a great time. The place was packed, and at least the early game, great game.
Oh, great game. Hey, Scott, before we let you go, NBA champion, you're doing great work with GCU, doing the broadcast as well, but we can now add best-selling author to your list of titles as well. Where can our listeners find out more about your book, and even more so, where can they get it?
Yeah, it's called Through the Fire, a memoir of trauma and loss, basketball and triumph. I talk a little bit about my time with, obviously, those greats that you mentioned, but all the way back to my childhood, suffering from domestic violence. So I partnered with Chrysalis here in Phoenix in the Compass Center in Chapel Hill. Honor Coach Smith was really there for me, who delivered the news to me in my dormitory the first day of practice. And I wanted to honor him as well, be going to the Steve Smith Award, Coaches Award dinner in Greensboro on Tuesday night. Kevin Smith will be honored, the recipient of that. But it's just about trying to give back. I wrote this book after many decades to try to raise awareness to domestic violence. So there's 20 people every minute affected by domestic violence in some form or another, whether physical or verbal. Either they know somebody or directly affected. But 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will be affected by DV, and 1 in 7 men. So I just want to raise a little awareness. Probably try to raise some funds. I don't know if I'll sell 50 books or 500, but right now it's doing well. Being well received. You can find it on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, or in a hardcover. Also on Barnes & Noble for those loyal Barnes & Noble customers as well. So please, if you can, spend $10, spend $20. It's going to a good cause.
That's awesome. We'll tweet out a link to that book from our show handle. Scott, great stuff. We appreciate it. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. Go Suns.
There we go. Scott Williams. Great guy. And, he and Fat Lever just had a great time. I was cornered up. Fat Lever, he was just over there in the corner hanging out with you and I talking about
I know, and you were kind of in heaven, too, because you had a little history with him. Obviously you worked as
back in the day.
With the Nuggets, or
I just happened to be in a building, working in a building that they had training camp. And that's where I don't know, grew to love the NBA, grew to love the 1980s Denver Nuggets of all things. Hey, we'll step aside here. More to come. I don't know. We're going to have to go check and see. But we might have Casey on from the Sportsbook here. Got to get some baseball picks out of this guy. We'll do that next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Join Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy D Thursdays at one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. The guys broadcast live from 1 to 5 Valley locations. And tune in at 2:45 for Peaks Picks, your chance to win a Twin Peaks man card. It's Guys Live every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Arizona, if you're shopping for a new or certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup. So check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year end, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Golfers, teed up at Vans Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 woods and irons. The new Stealth unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees, more options, and faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global Capital, 480-397-9300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professional.
That scared me.
Got a tech guy here.
Well, you should still give him a heads up that
That ain't good.
that's not good.
There's a short in there somewhere.
No, it takes it.
Sweet. I thought for sure we were done. Hey, Richie, we're back.
Yep, perfect timing. I got you guys.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
You're live.
Welcome back in. Thanks again to Scott Williams for joining us. Great guy. Really good guy. And appreciate him making some time for us. And like I said, it was great to meet him and Fat Lever out here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona a week ago for the semifinal games. And it was a packed house. And if you've never been to Casino, Arizona and the Sportsbook, you heard Scott Williams talk about it. What a great setup it is. Jackson and I eat the breakfast sandwich religiously every Saturday morning. And you can also take advantage of the Sportsbook, whether it's in person at the window on the far end from where we're sitting or the kiosks here at the Sportsbook. But joining us from the Sportsbook here at Casino, Arizona is Ryan. And
Casey. Come on.
I was looking our old producer.
Come on.
No
Messed
problem.
his name up.
He's got his name tag on. Casey, my
In
apologies.
his debut.
He's a Boston fan.
No problem, Rob.
So I have to. Yeah, thank you. I deserve that.
Attaboy, Tony.
So you're a Red Sox fan. First
Correct,
and foremost. We got for our guests. We always figure out who they are, what they're fans of. Are you from Boston? How did you become a Red Sox fan?
Yeah, I'm from Massachusetts, born and raised. Grew up there, went to school at St. John's in New York. Moved back to Massachusetts, been out here for about the last 10 years now.
And how was it for a Boston native in New York as a St. John's student?
It wasn't bad. I mean, obviously, I had a lot of arguments. They're all Yankees, Mets, and Jets fans. And then obviously the Giants owned us in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
So, you mentioned St. John's. I got to ask you, St. John's basketball, new head coach, is a guy from Boston, a bad hire or is that a wicked good hire?
I think it's a wicked good hire. I actually like Patino. I think he'll do really good over there. Give him a little bit more dominance. Again, they've been pretty terrible the last few years.
Just keep him out of the diners. Just keep him out of the diners in the St. John's neighborhood.
And we were talking about that, right? When you look at the Big East from not even the distant past, but the recent past, you've got Georgetown, St. John's, and Syracuse all have kind of, they were the ones that put this conference on the map and then fallen on hard times here recently. I think all three of them get new head coaches this year. So hopefully it'll be a turnaround. So these new bloods that are there, like the Creightons and the other, UConn, I guess, has been there for a while. But the other ones, so it's all the new teams putting the Big East on the map.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Talk to us about wagering baseball. We're through football. We kind of get that. Basketball season, at least the college basketball season, is over. NBA playoffs right around the corner. But wagering baseball to us is a little bit more challenging proposition, pardon the pun, than those other sports. What advice do you have for people maybe that are new to wagering baseball but come out here, check out the menus, check out the big screen TVs, and maybe they want to bet on a game? What advice do you have for newcomers to wagering on baseball, Casey?
I would say the best way to do it is pretty much to come in and do straight bets. Just pick a team who you think is going to win, or to bet the totals, the amount of runs that you think both teams will score combined. Those are probably the easiest type of bets to do. A lot of people, what they like to do, though, are they like to parlay. Reason for that is they can bet less money but get a bigger return, whereas baseball is definitely a harder sport to bet where you're going to be paying a higher juice. Like, for instance, today you got the San Francisco Giants against the Royals. If you want to take the Giants, you're laying 140 to win 100, whereas a lot of football, you're laying 110 to win 100.
So you mentioned parlay. Let's say that I'm walking up to the window and I want to do a parlay. How do I do that? In the past I've seen there's parlay sheets and you got to fill it out a piece of paper, like you're ordering a burger with a bunch of toppings at a restaurant. How do you do that? If I want to come up and I make a parlay bet here, the straight bet, it's pretty straightforward. If I want to do that, how do I do that?
The best way to do a parlay bet would be to come into the sports book, grab a sheet, Right there, you'll take each game, whatever game you like. Like, say, for instance, you like the Giants. Next to it will be a 3-digit number, which is called the rotation number. You'll write down that 956. You'll go through all the teams that you want to bet, and you'll just write down those rotation numbers. Just come up to the window, say, hey, I want to do a 5-team parlay. Give those 5 rotation numbers, and then we'll be able to show you on the screen how much you bet, and then the return you'll get on that bet.
So there's also this big golf tournament going on this weekend. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called the Masters.
Well, it's not going on right now. It's definitely paused right now.
Correct. It is paused, but the action started on Thursday. What have you been seeing bettors? Like you mentioned before, someone also bet on Brooks Koepka before. Kind of talk about the Masters bets that you've seen before the tournament.
Yeah, so before the tournament, we had a lot of future bets coming in, people placing to win the tournament outright, top 5s, top 10, top 20 finishes. The bet that I was talking to you guys about was the Brooks Koepka. He was actually plus 4,000 before the tournament started. So putting $100 on him, you'd win 4,000 plus your 100 back. A lot of the other golfers we saw big action on were, the favorite Scotty Scheffler, your John Rahm. You had Tiger Woods thrown in there.
Was Rory up there too? Because that's the biggest surprise we've
Rory
seen.
didn't make
Is
the
not
cut.
even make the cut. Yeah.
Rory was a big one. He was actually a favorite with Scheffler at plus 700, as well as Justin Thomas. Neither one of them made the cut.
Anyone bet on Sam Bennett making the
No.
cut or top 5?
No, we didn't see any Sam Bennett action.
A couple more minutes with Casey from the Sportsbook here at Casino Arizona. Now, here's the thing, and I remember during football season, I'd come in and we'd be getting set up, and people rush in at the last minute to try to get these things in. You guys can't. Once the game starts, you got to have those wagers in, right? So what's the plan? If I'm coming out here with my buddies to watch the NBA playoffs, what's the safe way to get this thing done? So if I've got something I want to do, I can get to the window and get those bets in time.
Yeah, the best thing would be is to look at the start time. If you see a start time at 7:05, normally at that time is when we would pull it off the board. So you want to try to get here 10 to 15 minutes before that, just to make sure you're safe. But also what we have is called in-game wagering. So once a game tips, as the game's going on, different point spreads will be established for the point spread as well as the over-under. So if you are a little late, you can definitely bet in-game wagering as well.
And the hours here at the Sportsbook, what hours are the windows staffed? So our listeners know.
Yeah, we're staffed every day from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Not only here, but at Talking Stick Resort as well, as we're both partners. But you have kiosks 24/7, so you can make bets anytime throughout the day. During our hours that we're closed, you can cash your tickets at the cage as well.
That's awesome. Casey,
sweet.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're going to be a regular contributor here as we get into the summer months, and help us, because we need it. Help us with our baseball knowledge when it comes to wagering. We're going to step aside here, come back. We'll make our picks and wrap up today's show on Fox Sports 910.
Take points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
With every other attorney out there claiming to be the right attorney for you, it's time we look at the facts. Lerner & Rowe has helped over 150,000 injured people receive compensation for their injuries. We've recovered billions of dollars, with over $1 billion recovered in the last 5 years alone. We have over 50 attorneys and over 400 legal professionals and the resources to fight for you. The reality is, there's Lerner & Rowe, then there's everybody else. Interact, need a check?
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Golfers, teed up at Vans Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Vans Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Vans Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Hey, Arizona, if you're shopping for a new or certified used vehicle, visit any one of your 13 Valley Chevy dealers for the best deals and offers on trucks, crossovers, SUVs, and cars. The Silverado is the #1 best-selling full-size light-duty pickup, so check it out during truck season going on now at your Valley Chevy dealers or visit valleychevy.com. Based on S&G Global Mobility 2022 calendar year end, U.S. new vehicle registrations using GM custom retail registration type in the GM half-ton large pickup segments.
In this week's Marketers Report, Chris Brandt, Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio.
We've used audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. When it comes to your personal injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call, no BS.
Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. Call
1-800-ANTI-LAWYER. To take the points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
We're live. Thanks again to Casey from the Sportsbook here at Casino, Arizona. He's got a long way to go to get me up to speed on baseball, though. I'm telling you what. this is not going to be an easy task for him. Hey, real quickly, before I make our picks, speaking of Casino, Arizona, we've got the college football futures are out. This is as of the 7th. Looking at the Pac-12 teams in the mix for the college championship, I think nobody's surprise. USC nationally is the number 5 team on that list at plus 1,500. Then you got Oregon in there, Utah in there, UCLA in the top 25. Colorado has slid into the conversation.
Of course
They're not going to win 5 games.
It's the power of persuasion, isn't it? When you look at that. They're plus 20,000. So it's not like they're any kind of favorite, but when you look at the list of who they've got, what does that looks like about the top 30 or so?
Well, it's so crazy to me. Georgia plus 225. That's just crazy.
That is but and Casey just joined us last segment, and Jackson, you asked him about the Masters, and he said he was still getting bets for Tiger Woods. This, to me, the Colorado is the same exact thing. That's the same thing. That's people going in, buying into, some sort of media hype or betting Tiger because they always have, or it's this
feel good.
The odds are there, and I'm in future we'll maybe talk to Casey about this, but the odds are never who is going to win. The odds are where the most amount of money. Yep. That's where odds are set. Odds are set where the most amount of money is going to come in. So they set the odds there so that people look and go, you know what? I'll throw some money on Colorado. There you go.
We'll keep an eye on the college football and NFL futures as things start to take shape. We got spring games going on in college football and obviously draft coming up in the NFL that will shape this a little bit.
The NBA has launched investigation into Dallas's roster decisions last night. Bulls, Mavs game, and the motivations behind those decisions.
How are you going to investigate motivation?
I don't know.
You allow it. We talked about Greg Popovich going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He invented it, and everybody else is trying to perfect what he did. Load management, whatever. I don't care. Until you put a rule in place, what are you going to investigate? Is that just to make people feel good? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is a possibility, though. I mean, if there are texts or there's emails and it says, hey, we don't,
or burner phones.
Burner. Hey, listen. Steve Keim on line 1 right now. So, I mean, if they've got, if they've got burner phones, which also speaking of the NBA, reminds me of, you guys remember when Brian Colangelo had a burner Twitter account?
Yeah,
that was a big thing in 76ers land. But I mean, for something like that, you're looking at, if there is a digital trail that says, hey, we need you guys to check out.
It's tough to cheat in 2023, isn't it? Somebody's going to find out. They're keeping records. There is a trail out there if that's the case, but still, NBA, you brought this upon yourself. I mean, load management is an accepted term.
Yeah, it is
in the 2022-2023 NBA. So until you fix it, Go ahead and investigate.
Yeah, that is the official statement from NBA spokesman Mike. I'm going to go with Bass or Base. The NBA commenced an investigation today into the facts and circumstances surrounding, a bunch of official stuff. So the motivations, but if there are motivations on motivation, I know you're saying gross. Conceptually, we can't capture that. But if there is, hey, we need you guys to tank. We need you guys to lose this game.
If there's a text that says, "Don't play these guys, we want to tank," did you break a rule?
Possibly?
Didn't. No. What rule did you break?
There's probably some Section 5, column 8.
Competitive clause.
Verse 7.
All right, let's do our picks so we don't get all fired up on this one. I'm fired up.
All right. Masters winner.
Oh, wait. What are the standings?
Oh, we don't have to do that. No, that's all right. Moving on. No.
Masters
You're
winner.
winning, whatever.
We are going to give our Masters prediction after 2.5 rounds.
Well, it's like it's on Rock and Minuch when we did the Final Four. You could when you redo you did your first bracket, then you did your Sweet 16 bracket, then you did your Final Four bracket. That's great. What we're doing here.
By the way, who won that? Well, that was me, right? The bracket, that was me.
They want to hear our picks, guys.
If you want to mention the picks, then we should mention that I won the bracket challenge between all of the hosts at Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
All right, Masters winner after 2.5 rounds. Give me Brooks Koepka. I mean, he's playing absolutely great golf. 1 bogey through 2.5 rounds. I don't see anyone stopping him, and I don't see anyone catching up to him. I like Koepka. Bauer?
And, so if you're taking a look at the odds, Koepka is your favorite. He's minus 110. I picked Jon Rahm at the beginning of this. I think Jon Rahm still has a run in him. We'll see how that changes because he played very well under rough conditions earlier today. In order to post a 69 in the second round, he already played a bunch of golf today. Now he gets to go rest, dry off, get ready to go, get back out there. Play is suspended for the day. I'm sticking with the Sun Devil. I'm sticking with the Spaniard. Give me Rombo. And you know what? If we were doing money line odds, I'm getting some good value here.
It's going to be interesting to see how things play out the rest of the way in Augusta. It's supposed to rain into the wee hours of the morning.
Yes.
And then no sun for tomorrow, right? So it's going to be cloudy, a little bit warmer. So we'll see. And as you mentioned, Bauer, they've got some really good systems in place to dry that course out.
Yes, they do.
But still, you have had a ton of weather here the past couple of days. Give me Koepka with all that. I don't even know. Why not?
Koepka, look, he's only used to playing 54 holes. He's going to finish the third round and think he won the whole damn thing. He's going to ask him. He's going to ask him for the green jacket when he finishes the next round.
Shots fired.
That's not how this works.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
exactly.
of
sir, it's not time yet. Stay away from Butler Cabin.
Speaking of shots, let's talk some slap shots in some NHL hockey.
See what you did there.
Yes, I tried to smooth it in there, Bauer, learning from the best. Ducks, the Mighty Ducks versus the Coyotes. Coyotes favored by 1.5 goals. Over under at 6.5. Give me the Coyotes. Big win over the Ducks. Bauer?
The total has gone over in 5 of Arizona's last 6 games. I'm just give me goals, baby. Give me goals. Look, this is a team that went up to Seattle and lost 8-1 8-2 the other day. Give me the over in this and every Coyotes game moving forward for right now.
Yeah, unlike, let me start by saying, unlike Seattle, the Ducks are not playing for any kind of playoff positioning.
That is true.
However, the idea that there's going to be goals this afternoon, and that game gets underway in about an hour and a half over at the arena in Tempe. I like that, right? So I like that call, Bauer. Let's take the over in that one.
And lastly, the Dodgers at D-backs. Dodgers favored by 1.5 here. Give me the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers. I bet the Dodgers last night and lost, so they owe me. So give me the Dodgers today.
Screw you guys. Beat LA.
That's going to do it for us this week. Congratulations to Steve R. He won a TV. We have visual proof of that out on our Twitter handle. Go check it out. But congratulations to him, and thanks to Jeff Hoodzow and Best Deal in Town for their sponsorship of that deal. Thanks to our guest today, Scott Williams, Casey from the Sportsbook here,
Marco
at Casino,
in Spirit.
Arizona.
Marco in Spirit.
And Marco in Spirit. You all right with that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I do miss.
Go ahead.
This is the first time in about 3 months I didn't do my Marco intro.
Do it right now.
Marco!
We're going to wrap up today's show. Thanks to Richie back in the studio. We'll see you next Saturday right here on Fox Sports 910.